Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. A major historical turning point has just occurred in the ongoing trade dispute between the United States and Canada. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has officially taken a firm stand, walking away from negotiations with the US and announcing aggressive retaliatory tariffs in response to American trade pressures. In today's video, we are going to break down Mark Carney's address.
Good morning, everyone. Bonjour tout le monde.
Examine how Canada is countering US trade policies, analyze the impact on critical supply chains, and discuss what this escalation means for the global economy moving forward. Make sure to watch until the end, and let's dive right in.
Instructed our negotiators to return to Ottawa. We cannot accept what they've offered, and we will not give what they've asked.
As you just saw in that clip, the Canadian leadership delivered a direct message: we cannot accept what they've offered, and we will not give what they've asked. The United States had been pushing for unilateral tariffs of up to 50% on Canadian goods, including key sectors like automotive, steel, and aluminum. From Ottawa's perspective, Washington has used various justifications, ranging from border security concerns to regulatory disputes, to exert maximum economic pressure. Carney's statement makes it clear that Canada views these measures as an attempt to undermine its economic sovereignty, and they are refusing to sign a deal under those conditions.
Tariffs, dollar for dollar, in order to protect Canadian workers, farmers, families, and businesses.
This is arguably the most critical moment of the address. Canada is shifting from a defensive negotiating position to direct economic countermeasures.
Will be concentrated in sectors such as steel, dairy, appliances, agricultural equipment, pulp and paper, and electronics.
Prime Minister Carney explicitly stated that Canada will match Washington's measures dollar for dollar.
Also include products that are currently subject to unjustified Section 232 and 338 tariffs.
These retaliatory tariffs target key American exports, including steel, dairy, appliances, agricultural machinery, and electronics.
This is a focused response. A focused response to protect and defend our industries and allow them to compete with U.S. products in the Canadian market. In the coming days, we'll release details of those.
While Carney acknowledged that trade barriers inevitably lead to higher consumer costs on both sides of the border, he framed this response as a necessary step to defend Canadian industry and maintain bargaining leverage.
From Canada. Canada fuels American growth.
During this segment, Carney pushed back against assertions regarding the trade imbalance between the two nations. Supplying
99% of their natural gas imports, 85% of their electricity imports, 60% of their crude oil imports. I don't think they want us to stop sending any of that energy.
Presenting key data on U.S. resource reliance, by highlighting that Canada remains the single largest export customer for American vehicles and steel, the speech underlines a core economic reality. An escalating trade war creates substantial friction for supply chains and energy security on both sides of the border.
Canada, nous accélérons la construction de logements abordables.
Addressing retaliatory trade friction is only half the battle.
En quelques mois à peine, cette nouvelle agence s'est engagée à construire près de 17 000 logements dans le cadre de 17 partenariats.
Carney also outlined domestic stabilization measures aimed at insulating Canadian businesses and workers from short-term fallout.
Nous bâtissons les infrastructures locales sur lesquelles les Canadiens et les Canadiennes comptent au quotidien grâce aux nouveaux fonds pour bâtir des collectivités fortes.
The proposed strategy includes targeted subsidies, supply chain rerouting, and financial relief for agricultural and industrial sectors hit hardest by retaliatory barriers.
Qui représente un investissement de 51 milliards de dollars. Plus de 100 projets ont déjà été annoncés partout au pays.
Ottawa aims to prevent widespread job losses while giving domestic companies
de nouveaux hôpitaux, de nouveaux centres communautaires et de nouvelles
time to adjust to new trading parameters across the border.
Other questions. First, with respect to the auto industry, both in terms of the level of the tariffs, the treatment of Canadian content, so Canadian parts, Canadian steel, Canadian content in vehicles, the scope of the tariffs. Americans wanted to limit it to autos only, not include medium and...
Welcome to the team. Let's get started.
Heavy autos and light trucks, to be more specific, not include medium and heavy-duty trucks, which is a big change, obviously, and with respect to Ford's new...
According to the Prime Minister, Washington introduced new conditions restricting auto sector terms and sought language that would limit Canada's ability to enter independent trade agreements with international partners.
Plan, for example, in Oakville, which is F-350s, 450s, 550s, they would have been excluded. GM Silverado, same thing, would have been excluded from that. No rationale, just for exclusion.
Over the past year, Canada has actively expanded bilateral trade deals across Asia and Europe.
So effectively moving into a series of terms that would made...
Accepting restrictions on foreign trade policy was treated as a red line regarding national sovereignty.
The production more uneconomic over time. Okay, so that's a change. That restriction, that clarification, that precision was a change. The U.S. introduced in the last hours, efforts to restrict our ability to have other trade deals. You heard me say a moment ago what we've accomplished in the last year, 20 new deals, economic and security partnerships. The prospect of doubling our market access because we believe in free trade. We're the partner of choice in many respects for countries around the world, and the Americans wanted to restrict that. They had language. Une économie canadienne unifiée. Au cours de la dernière année, nous avons éliminé tous les obstacles fédéraux au commerce intérieur.
Carney underscored that Canada must diversify its trade portfolio away from total reliance on the North American corridor.
Nous avons assoupli les conditions pour que les travailleurs canadiens puissent mettre leurs compétences à profit partout au pays. Nous travaillons aussi avec les provinces et les territoires pour éliminer les obstacles qui ont divisé notre économie pendant des générations. Nous prenons.
By strengthening supply chain partnerships across Europe, Asia, and Latin America, Canada hopes to build structural resilience against unilateral trade shifts. This signals a broader trend where middle-power nations actively seek multipolar trade pathways rather than operating solely within traditional bilateral frameworks.
Last spring, I warned that America is trying to break us so they can own us. And I promised that that will never, ever happen. We are keeping that promise.
Carney summarized the political friction with a stark assessment. America is trying to break us so they can own us, and I promise that will never ever happen.
Canada is becoming stronger and less dependent on America. We are already giving ourselves more than they can take away, and we are just getting started.
Beyond the immediate tariff figures, this address signals a structural shift in North American trade policy.
As we observed earlier this week in St. John's, Canadians don't submit to the weather, we thrive in it. We don't wait to see which way the wind's blowing, or surrender ourselves to the waves to be storm-tossed. We set our own course. We make our own weather.
Rather than relying solely on the U.S. market, Canada is accelerating internal infrastructure investments and seeking broader global market diversification. How do you see this trade dispute unfolding? Will bilateral negotiations resume, or are we looking at a prolonged economic standoff between the U.S. and Canada? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this breakdown informative, please hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe to the channel for more international political and economic analysis.